So the French President François Hollande has said the killing of two people who lived near Paris and worked for the police was terrorism. Their attacker, Larousse Abala, who was shot dead in a siege involving police commandos, had been jailed in 2013 for helping Islamist militants travel to Pakistan. Well, the French Interior Minister, Bernard Cazeneuve, said the authorities were doing all they could to tackle the threat of such attacks.
Cette mobilisation nous a conduits au cours des dernières semaines.
In the last few weeks, this effort by the authorities has led us to arresting a number of people who posed a threat to the security of France. More than 100 people have been arrested since the beginning of this year as part of intense activity of the anti-terrorist squad.
Générale de la sécurité intérieure.
Well, Olivia Guita is an international security consultant and joins us now. Yet another terror attack in France. What do you make of this one?
Look, it's a new modus operandi that is unfortunately what we expected as far as low sophisticated attacks. Islamic State will use spectacular attacks like we've seen for Charlie Hebdo and for the November Paris attacks, but also they will use lone wolves to attack law enforcement agencies, in this case the police, but also the military will be most probably targeted, Jews. Those are the usual targets of the jihadists, unfortunately.
What is worrying, I suppose, though, is that this man was known to the police.
Yes, I mean, in most of the cases that you look at in terms of jihadists in the West, they were all known to the police. So the first, if you will, the first intelligence that the police gets is usually very good. Then, unfortunately, it's very difficult for them to monitor everyone they have on their list. And that's what we've seen in London with the Lee Rigby case, but also what we've seen in France, in Belgium, but also in Orlando. Those people are on the radar, but then if you don't have actual intelligence that they're going to act, it's very difficult to follow everyone and to stop them before they succeed in carrying out a terror attack.
So how would you approach this problem then of these lone wolves? Because we even know that his phone was bugged and they found nothing on it.
The main issue is really getting back to the roots, and which means human intelligence. Unfortunately, Western security services for the past 10 years have been looking at electronic intelligence as the holy grail, if you will, and they forgot to infiltrate cells. And that's one of the things that the French used to be good at until 6 or 7 years ago when they dismantled their main unit that was infiltrating jihadist cells.
So are they going to, do you think, review how they're tackling this type of terrorism? From what you're saying, that was a mistake.
They will have to. I mean, they will have to see how they're going to look into much more human intelligence, but that's already a little bit in the works from the UK to France. But also at the same time, the people have to realize that they're overwhelmed, they're overstretched, the security services. So either our governments are going to be really serious about security and they're going to need to hire a lot more analysts, a lot more manpower to monitor the potential jihadists, or we are bound to see these occurrences happen on a monthly basis.
When you talk about the lone wolf, I suppose it's easy to underplay it in a way, isn't it? But if you look at what happened in Orlando, you know, that was a lone wolf with massive casualties.
Yes. I mean, that's what Islamic State has understood compared to Al-Qaeda, is that they can have just one person kill 50 people, and the amount of publicity and media exposure that gets them is unheard of. So you are totally correct. I mean, lone wolf can do a lot of damage. At the same time, it's not difficult for an organization to just claim credit for somebody that has just been killed. And that's really what security services have been concerned for the past 15 years.
Olivia Guita, thank you very much indeed, international security consultant.